Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome back to another episode of Rune Gaming. I'm your boy, the new normal, and in today's video, we're going to go over Rune Raids, the different types of Rune Raids. Before we get into that, though, I'd just like to let you know about my referral link. It's located in the description beneath this video. When you use it, you will save 20% off the cost of creating your character in Rune, which is the only way to play all the games available in our ever-expanding Rune metaverse. Alright guys, so we're going to be discussing raids today, and as you can see, I'm on the Rune homepage. So what you want to do is go over to the left and click this icon with a tractor on it. And as you can see, we have two different types of raids. We have farms and pools. I'm going to go over both of them, starting with farms. Okay, so as you can see, these are the different farms that we have available. And farms are what Rune calls LPs, or liquidity providers. And what these farms are is that, say this pool right here for our new token RXS, which rune token, our old token, is being burned for. You burn one rune token, or a piece of a rune token. Ratio is one rune token equals 10,000 RXS. So you would receive 10,000 RXS per one rune burned, which you can do using our rune charter, located on the home page. So as you can see here, the interest rate, the APR, interest earned per year, is very high in these farms. This one, the RXS to BUSD pool, is 83.84% a year, which is really high. The current token that's being farmed at the time of recording this video is So if you create a liquidity provider token for you're receiving 418.54% APR per year. ZOD 145.71. So as you can see, like, these are all very high. However, with the high APR comes extremely high risk, and I'm going to tell you why. Like, when you choose to become an LP, what you're doing is, say you have a 1,000 RXS in this example, so you would be converting that 1,000 RXS to 500 RXS and 500 BUSD, or it wouldn't be 500, it'd be whatever the equivalent of 500 RXS is. That's how much BUSD you'd get. So you're generally creating a brand new token which combines the two tokens of RXS and BUSD, which is a stable coin. So the risk occurs with impermanent loss. So I'm going to explain that to you. What that is say the price of RXS goes down. It's tethered to this stablecoin BUSD. So what that means is that when RXS goes down, it's going to drop at a faster rate than it normally would if you were just holding RXS by itself. The same applies when the price of RXS goes up. The value of your liquidity token that you created is going to go up higher than the value of RXS if you were just to hold that itself without creating a LP between these two coins here. So there is risk, right? And I don't like a lot of risk, so I'm not really into farms. That's just my personal opinion, not financial advice. Do your own homework, but these farms are not the way to go for me. I've had bad experiences with LPs in the past, and I don't want to repeat the same mistakes. So let's go into our second type of raid here, which is called pools. And pools is what Rune Game calls staking. And in my opinion, staking is far much safer, and that's the approach I choose to take when investing my various types of Rune tokens. So as you can see, for this RXS pool, it's 6.43% APR per year, and that is considerably lower than the farms, the LPs that we saw for the same token RXS when you combine it to create a new token with BUSD. However, this is so much safer, guys. Like, oh my goodness, like, you can take your token out anytime you wish and don't have to worry about the value of it decreasing at a faster rate. I say and the token is here. That's our current raid. That's the current coin that we're raiding. We have other types of coins that you can stake as well in our rune pools. Zod gives you a pretty good rate of return at 12.32% APR a year. And low, we got raw, all the different rune tokens that are in distribution right now. You're able to stake in our pools, and we also have this hidden pool here. Although the only token that you can stake in the hidden pool is the token that is currently being farmed in our raids. So that would be and so you can buy some on the open market, or you can use the that you receive that you've harvested. If you have some already in our pools or in our raids and you harvest it, then you can take that and stake it to the hidden pool here, which you will receive 7.68%. So what we're going to go into now is I'm going to compare the builds. This is the current build I have, and we're going to compare it with my past build, which you can see in my past video on items in the Rune Metaverse. Here's what our past build looked like, guys. Here's the stats of our past build. We had 104% harvest yield bonus, our harvest burned being at 49%, our harvest fee at 11% to be paid out in Thol token, and our reduced harvest fees were 39%, which would make our harvest fee after reduction to be 6.71% paid out in Thol. And I'm going to show you guys how final harvest yield is calculated. Here's the formula as to how we calculate our final harvest. And as you can see, the computation is determined from the attributes of the items we have equipped, which are added together and then processed. Final harvest is computed based on the following steps. So harvest fee is calculated first, and then we calculate burn, and then we take off any fees, and then that gives us the bonus yield. And if you would just like to pause the screen and take a closer look at these steps as to how the final harvest yield is calculated, by all means do so. Here is how we would calculate our final harvest yield based on the stats of our past build, using total harvest of 100 token as an example, as you can see right here. So the harvest fee in this example of 100 token to be harvested would be calculated by taking your 100 and multiplying it by 6.71%, and that would give you 6.71 Thol. So you would have to pay 6.71 Thol in order to complete this harvest. So make sure that you have that token, in this example it's Thol, included in your wallet, because if you don't and it goes to harvest and it goes to take the harvest fee, you're going to be paying much more higher gas fee prices. And then how harvest burn is calculated here is that the item we have equipped, Guiding Light, has a harvest burn of 49%. We go 1 minus 0.49, which equals 0.51. So that's what our harvest is at so far. So you take 0.51 times 1 plus 1.04, because our harvest yield bonus is 104%. So you would go 1 plus 104%, or 1.04, and then you would multiply that by 0.51. And then in order to get our total harvest yield bonus, we go 0.51 multiplied by 2.04, which equals 1.0404. So in order to determine our harvest yield bonus off of 100 we would go 100 times 1.0404, which equals 104.04 So we would be getting a bonus of 4.04 for this build that we have installed right now for our character. So those are the stats for the past build. So here is our current build, the build that we put together at the end of the last video on items in the Rune Metaverse. And as you can see, our harvest yield bonus has gone up a little bit, but to 115%, although our harvest burned has also gone up to 51%. The harvest fee is still 11% paid out in full. However, now we have reduced harvest fees of 52%, which brings the harvest fee after reduction to 5.28 full. And I'm just going to show you how these calculations are derived. So as you can see in this calculation, we're just using 100 as an example. If you had 100 token available to harvest at the end of the raid or anytime during the raid, with this current build, the harvest fee would be 100 times 0.0528 or 5.28%, which would equal a harvest fee to be paid out in 5.28 Thul tokens. How we calculate the burn in this build is we take the number 1 and we subtract our harvest burn, which is 51%. So we go 1 minus 0.51, which equals 0.49 or 49%. So then we take 0.49 and we multiply it by 1 plus 1.15. Because our harvest yield bonus is 115% right now. So you take 1 plus 1.15, and then that brings it to 0.49 or 49% times 2.15, which equals a total harvest yield bonus of 1.0535. So how we would calculate how much we would be getting back in our harvest, it would be, in this example, we're using 100 and we multiply it by 1.0535, which would give us 105.35 which would make our bonus 5.35 So that's a little bit better than the stats in our past build. However, I think we can get that total down even a bit lower. So those were the stats of our current build, as you can see right here. Although our harvest burn is still really high at 51%. And what's causing that is this guiding light sword that we have equipped in this slot right here. And it gives us 90% increased harvest yield, which is really, really good. However, it's given us the 46% harvest burn, which is really, really high. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to lower the burn in my build stats here by unequipping this guiding light and then equipping another weapon which may help us. So we're going to go to unequip. There we go, unequip. And we just have to confirm the gas fee in our MetaMask wallet. Alright, and that transaction has been confirmed. We can check it out here on BSC scan. And as you can see, the transaction fee is 83 cents. The crypto market is currently still high, so that means that the price of BNB is high. Higher the price of BNB, higher transaction fee. Although that won't matter once we move to the Matic network, our transaction fees will be pennies. And 83 cents really isn't that bad compared to the Ethereum network, which charges you hundreds of dollars. Okay, so as you can see, we no longer have our guiding light equipped, but we are going to equip another weapon that hopefully will improve our current build stats. So we click this icon here, the sword, and in my last video where we covered items, I purchased a new Destiny staff. Here's the one that I crafted when I first started playing the game, and it's really good at 70%. It's a rare, increased harvest yield at 34%, and harvest burn at 11%. However, I bought this other staff in my last video. It has lower perfection stat of 68%. However, the increased harvest yield stat is more at 39%, and the harvest burn stat is lower at 10%. So I'm going to equip this Destiny, and how we go about that, just click equip here, we approve it, we click confirm, and And our transaction is confirmed. We can check right here on BSC scan. And this transaction fee was only 16 cents to equip that item. Not bad at all. And we just confirmed the transaction here. And our transaction has been confirmed. And that transaction fee was $1.46 in BNB. Alright, so we'll check out our new build here. As we can see, we have our Destiny staff for our mage equipped. And that item is character specific. I have a mage, so I'm able to equip Destiny staff. And let's check out the new build stats here. As you can see, the harvest yield bonus is lower now at 64%. However, our harvest burn is only at 15%. The harvest fee token has changed from Thal to Our reduced harvest fees are at 52%, which brings our harvest fees after reduction to 6.72% paid out in And those fees are just slightly higher than what we were paying in Thal. However, our burn is so much lower that we're actually going to be receiving a higher harvest yield bonus with this build. Here's a diagram of the calculation, and in this example we're also going to be using a harvest yield of 100 in the example. So our current harvest fee is calculated by taking the total number of tokens in our harvest, being 100 multiplying it by 0.0672, which is our harvest fee after the harvest fee reduction. So we would be paying 6.72 for our harvest fee. How the harvest burn is calculated here is because the Destiny staff, it only has a 15% harvest burn. We go 1 minus 0.15, and that equals 0.85 or 85%. So that's how much harvest we have right now, 0.85%. So then in order to calculate our new harvest yield bonus, we go 85% or 0.85 times 1 plus 0.64 or 1 plus 64%. And that's because our harvest yield bonus is 64%. So then we take 0.85, because that's what's left of our harvest after the 15% harvest burn. We multiply that by our harvest yield bonus, which would be 1.64, and that gives us the harvest yield bonus of 1.394. And then in order to calculate how much we'd be getting with our harvest yield bonus, we would take 100 multiply it by 1.394, and then that would give us 139.4 which would be a bonus of 39.4 which is way higher than the bonus of 5.35 that we would receive with our last build. So as you can see, that is way better than the past build that we had. Now, as you can see, our harvest fee is still pretty high at 14% of our harvest having to be paid out in and there is a way to lower that, and I'm going to show you the way as to how I'll go about that. So we go to our armor here. It's the shirt icon right here. And in my last video, I bought a pair of smoke hand wraps. And as you can see, it's going to increase our harvest yield by 4%, which is really, really good. But the real plum in the pie here is the 70% reduced harvest fees. So if I was to equip these smoke hand wraps, my harvest fees, I would no longer have to pay them. As you can see, I have reduced harvest fees right now of 52%. If I add that extra 70% reduced harvest fees, that would bring it to 122% reduced harvest fees, which would knock my harvest fees all the way down to zero, so I wouldn't have to pay that 6.72 before I harvest my yield. The reason that I am not going to equip these smoke hand wraps right now is because there is a stipulation, like with all good things, there is a catch. As you can see here, Unstake is locked until completion. Okay, so I know I went over this in my last items video, but I'm going to go over it again because it's very important and I don't want to see anything happen to you guys. So the proper way to use smoke for a harvest strategy is that how you want to go about it is that you want to equip your smoke and then you harvest like soon, right? Like before the raid is done, the current raid that you're on. So then when you harvest your tokens, you're not going to be able to unstake the token that you have staked in either the farm or the pool. That's going to be locked in there until the current raid is completed. Okay? But then once the raid is completed, you are able to stake and unstake as much as you want, as long as you keep your smoke gloves equipped. So like after the current raid is done, going into the next raid, you keep your smoke gloves on. You can take your token out of the pool or the farm, and you could put more token into the pool or the farm, and you can do that as you please. Your token will not be locked upon the completion of the next raid or any raids after that. What a lot of people like to do is they try to predict when the current raid is going to end, and then they will harvest their yield. They will keep their smoke equipped, and then they will wait until the next raid happens, which ideally would only be like a few days afterwards. And then you just keep your smoke equipped, and then you can unstake the token that you have staked in the farm or the pool, or you could restake as well, add more without any repercussions. Nothing would be locked. And the reason I'm not equipping my smoke right now is because like I'm a bit of a mover and shaker these days with the market going up and down all the time. So I do not want my RXS token or whatever token I choose to stake to be locked until the completion of this current raid, because I don't know when this raid's going to end, and I just want to keep my RXS and other tokens available so I can unstake and restake as much as I please. Okay, now that we have our new build with far better stats for raiding, we're going to go and do some raiding, guys. So we click this icon on the left, the tractor, and we're going to do pools because I don't want to become an LP. I just want to do some simple staking. Safer that way, I think. And as you can see here, you can see these white numbers, they're multipliers. However, they're already baked into the APR. So it's not like you're getting 32 times 7.91% APR. You're just getting 7.91% APR. This is just multiplied inside that number to give us this number of 7.91. Rune coins or rune tokens that I'm going to be staking today are going to be, if I can find them here, are going to be fall or foul, and the one beside it, pull. Because in the last two raids, we were raiding pull and fall, and I was involved in those, so I have a bit of both of those tokens, one of each. I'll show you them here in my inventory on the home screen here. I just have to refresh this, and then it'll load up what you have. So here's my wallet here, and I have 42 foul and 28 pull. So what I'm going to do, I want to save some for crafting rune words. So I'm going to stake 37 a foul and 23 pull. So we'll go back into pools here. There we go, it's just loading up. It shows you your current build here, all the stats. I'm really excited about that 64% harvest yield here, which will net us a harvest yield bonus of 39.4%. That's going to be great. So what we do here, we are going to go to FAL. So first what we have to do is approve the contract. It's going to be a 19-cent fee associated with this request. I can swing that, click confirm. Okay, and our transaction is approved. Well, our contract is approved. We can check the transaction here on BSC scan, and that was a 13-cent transaction fee. Not too bad. And then we click here to stake. It says here we have 42.48 FAL available. So we will do 38 so we can save for crafting. Okay, click confirm. Then we click confirm again. Alright, and our transaction has been confirmed. We can check it on BSC scan here. And as you can see, the transaction fee is $6.18. So the transaction fee is a little high right now because of the increase of price in the crypto market across the board, including BNB. But as you can see, that's how it's done. Now, I'm not going to stake my pull right now because that transaction fee was a little high, so I'm just going to wait for the market to settle down a little bit. However, this example is good enough. You now know the details of staking your coins in the Rune Metaverse. And as you can see, I have 38 FAL staked at an APR of 9.59%. And we're just going to leave that in for a long time. Alright, now what I want to talk to you about is the rate your token, or any token that is being generated in the current raid. This current raid is token. I want to talk about the speed at which it would accumulate and how you'd be able to figure that out. So we're going to go back to the home page. And we'll just refresh this to get the totals in our wallet here of all the rune stones that we have. There it is. So you scroll down and it's going to show you right here. Like this number is currently 0 right now because we just staked that FAL. Okay, I want to talk to you about the speed at which your token or any token that's being rated in the current harvest would accumulate for you. If this was the very beginning of the raid, this number right here would be going up quicker. And the reason that is because at the beginning of the raid, there's far less slices taken out of the pie. That means that there's not as many people invested in the pool yet, so there's more slices available for the few people that are invested at that point. So you'd be accumulating that token much quicker. However, you accumulate that token slower near the end of the raid, and the reason for that is because there's way more slices taken out of the pie at that point. There's more people involved, more people investing, so the token, it has to be spread out and distributed among far more people than at the beginning of the raid when you were accumulating it quicker. So that's just the technical analysis behind that. And also another point, at the beginning of the raid, the token that is being raided is worth way more at the beginning because there's less released into the market at that point. So say for example, it's the beginning of the raid and you've accumulated like 3 already. The price of at that point might be like at $1.50 or $2 because there's less out in distribution at that point. There's less released into the market because the raid just begun. So there's not as many generated out there in circulation at that point. However, as you get near the end of the raid, going into the raid, because there would be more available, in the market at that point, the starts becoming worth like less than the beginning of the raid. So at the beginning, say it was worth like between $2 to $1.50. At this point, near the end of the raid, it might only be worth like 63 cents or 53 cents, something like that. But then it would go up after when we would go into the next raid, whenever that would be. So there is like strategy involving this. Like some people, like they start selling like their right away, or whatever tokens being harvested like right away, because you get more money for it, and then they might convert it to stable coin like right away, and then wait for the price of to drop, and then rebuy back in, and thereby they'd be getting more for the amount of money it's worth at the beginning. So that is one strategy that people employ. It's not something that I do. I don't really like to harvest and then unharvest and then reharvest and just go back and forth like that. I tend to want to keep it in. I will be equipping those smoke hand wraps eventually, but it's a big decision, and I'm just going to hold off on it for a bit while this market kind of calms down a little bit. And also, I'm just going to show you as much of unstaking as I possibly can without actually unstaking anything. Because, I mean, you just saw, I already staked that in there. It costs like $6 American or something. So I don't want to unstake it. It'd just be a waste. But, I mean, if you guys ever want to unstake anything, you could figure it out just by following the simple instructions provided by the game interface here. So we're going to go back to the tractor icon. We're going to go back into pools. And we have balance at the bottom here. So what we would do is click this negative button here, and then it brings you into this mode right here. You'd have to pay. I'd have to pay a harvest fee because I have a harvest fee associated with that Destiny staff that I just equipped earlier. So then what you would do, you would just type in however much that you want to unstake. Let's say we want to do all of it at 38. And then you would just click approve. But like I said, I'm not going to do that because I just staked this, so it would be kind of dumb if I unstaked it. But I just wanted to show you guys that it can be done. Just watch out for that smoke, right? And also just one more point I wanted to make, guys, before I end the video, is that when you stake even more of the same coin to an existing pool, like say for example, I wanted to stake even more foul, right? So I'd go to add it. However, it will automatically harvest your rewards. So say like I had this foul in here for like, a week or so, and I had like some generated as my rewards. If I was to add more foul, it would automatically harvest that that I've generated in the staking in the farm. So you want to be strategic when you're thinking about that too, right? Like maybe you don't want to harvest it right away for whatever reason. You want it to generate more interest. I don't know, everyone has their different reasons. But I just want to let you know, in case you don't know, that your rewards will be harvested as soon as you add more of the same token to whichever pool or farm you're invested in. And there's no way around this, so it is something to keep in mind. And the same goes for unstaking your token from that pool as well. It will automatically harvest your rewards. And that's all I wanted to talk to you today about raids, guys. It is a very good way to generate passive income in the Rune metaverse. I mean, if you got like your tokens rated that you're generating from the play to earn game Rune Evolution, then you stick them in our pools or our farms, and you just like sit on them for like, who knows what the next year is going to bring when Rune Sanctuary comes out, right? I say hold on to all your rune stones as long as you can, and I say just hodl it as long as you can, and next year, who knows what will happen. And on that note, I'd like to thank you guys for joining me and making it to the end of the video, and I'd like everyone to have a blessed day.